5. Gobi Desert. The Gobi Desert spans parts of northern China and southern Mongolia. It is bound by the Altai Mountains to the north and the Tibetan Plateau to the southwest. The Gobi Desert has a continental climate, characterized by extreme temperature variations between summer and winter. Summers can be hot, with temperatures reaching well above 40 degrees Celsius, while winters are bitterly cold, with temperatures dropping below -40 degrees Celsius. Despite being a desert, the Gobi has a diverse range of vegetation, including drought-resistant plants such as saxaul, grasses, and shrubs. The desert also supports various animal species adapted to the harsh conditions, including Bactrian camels, wild sheep, gazelles, and various species of rodents. The Gobi Desert is known for its impressive sand dunes, some of which can reach heights of over 200 meters. The Khongoran Els sand dunes in southern Mongolia are particularly famous and attract tourists. The Gobi Desert is sparsely populated, and nomadic herding communities, mainly practicing traditional livestock herding, inhabit the region. Nomadic herders raise animals like camels, goats, sheep, and horses, relying on their adaptability to the desert environment. The Gobi Desert is renowned for its rich fossil deposits, including dinosaur fossils. Numerous paleontological discoveries have been made in the region, revealing a diverse range of ancient flora and fauna. The Gobi Desert acts as a transitional zone between the grasslands of Mongolia and the deserts of China. It exhibits characteristics of both cold and hot deserts. 4. Rub al-Khali. The Rub al-Khali spans an enormous area of about 1 million square kilometers, making it the largest sand desert on the planet. Situated in the Arabian Peninsula, the Rub al-Khali occupies the southeastern part of the Arabian Desert. It is surrounded by other deserts, including the Arabian Desert to the north and the Al-Dana Desert to the northeast. The desert is characterized by vast stretches of sand dunes, some of which can reach heights of up to 250 meters. The landscape is constantly changing due to the movement of sand dunes shaped by wind and occasional sandstorms. The Rub al-Khali experiences an extreme desert climate, with scorching daytime temperatures that can exceed 56 degrees Celsius. Nights can be cold, and the temperature fluctuation between day and night is significant. Historically, nomadic Bedouin tribes inhabited the fringes of the Rub al-Khali, relying on their traditional knowledge of survival in the harsh desert conditions. These tribes engaged in activities such as camel herding and trade. The Rub al-Khali is situated above significant oil reserves, and oil exploration and extraction activities have taken place in the surrounding areas. The discovery of oil has led to the development of infrastructure and human settlements around the periphery of the desert. The Rub al-Khali has been a subject of archaeological interest, with discoveries of ancient artifacts and evidence of past human activity. It is believed that trade routes passed through the desert in ancient times. 3. Great Victoria Desert. It spans across the states of Western Australia and South Australia. The desert landscape is characterized by vast expanses of red sand dunes, rocky plains, salt lakes, and sparse vegetation. Sand ridges and dunes dominate much of the terrain, creating a striking visual impact. The region has been inhabited by Aboriginal peoples for thousands of years. Indigenous groups, such as the Pidgin Jajara and Yankanit Jajara, have a deep cultural connection to the land and have lived in harmony with the desert environment, practicing traditional hunting and gathering. The Great Victoria Desert experiences extreme temperatures, with hot summers and cooler winters. Daytime temperatures can soar during the summer months, reaching well above 40 degrees Celsius. The desert receives relatively low annual rainfall, and it is considered a cold desert due to its lower temperatures compared to other deserts. Rainfall is sporadic and can vary greatly from year to year. A portion of the Great Victoria Desert is protected within the Great Victoria Desert Nature Reserve in South Australia. This reserve aims to conserve the unique biodiversity of the region. The remote and inhospitable nature of the Great Victoria Desert has contributed to its isolation. The vast distances and challenging terrain make it one of the least populated areas in Australia. The desert is of scientific interest due to its unique ecosystems and the study of adaptation strategies employed by the flora and fauna to survive in such an arid environment. 2. Arctic Desert. The Arctic Desert is situated in the northernmost part of the Earth, within the Arctic Circle. This region includes areas of Alaska, Canada, Greenland, Scandinavia. The Arctic Desert has a polar climate with extremely cold temperatures, especially in winter. Summers are short, and temperatures can vary widely. Despite being cold, the region still qualifies as a desert due to its low precipitation levels, often less than what is required for a location to be classified as a desert. Much of the Arctic Desert is covered with ice and snow, including ice sheets, glaciers, and frozen tundra. The ground may be permanently frozen in a layer known as permafrost, which limits the growth of vegetation. While the Arctic Desert is not as barren as some other deserts, vegetation is limited and mainly consists of hardy plants adapted to the cold conditions. Examples include mosses, lichens, low shrubs, and grasses. Despite the harsh conditions, the Arctic Desert supports a variety of wildlife. Species such as polar bears, Arctic foxes, reindeer, seals, and a variety of bird species have adapted to the challenging environment. The Arctic Desert is sparsely populated, with only a few indigenous communities and scientific research stations. The extreme conditions make human habitation challenging. Climate change poses a significant threat to the Arctic Desert. Rising temperatures, melting ice, and changes in precipitation patterns can have profound effects on the ecosystem, including impacts on wildlife and the way of life for indigenous communities. 1. Antarctica Desert. Antarctica is often referred to as a polar desert, making it the largest desert in the world. Despite the common image of deserts as hot and sandy, the designation of desert is based on the amount of precipitation a region receives, and Antarctica qualifies due to its extremely low precipitation levels. Antarctica is the southernmost continent and is the fifth largest continent, covering an area of about 14 million square kilometers. The entire continent is considered a desert. Antarctica has an extremely cold polar climate. Average temperatures can range from -20 degrees Celsius in the summer to -60 degrees Celsius in the winter. Coastal areas are generally milder than the interior. The majority of Antarctica is covered by a thick ice sheet that contains about 60% of the world's fresh water. The ice sheet can reach depths of several kilometers and has been formed over millions of years. The harsh climate of Antarctica limits the presence of plant and animal life. Mosses, lichens, and algae are among the few plant species that can survive. The surrounding Southern Ocean is rich in marine life, including seals, whales, and various species of fish. Antarctica is governed by the Antarctic Treaty System, an international agreement that designates the continent as a scientific preserve and prohibits military activities, mineral mining, and nuclear testing. The coastal areas of Antarctica feature icebergs, floating sea ice, and massive ice shelves. Ice shelves are large floating platforms of ice that extend from the coastline, formed by the flow of glacial ice from the interior.